Welcome back, guys. Hey, this one is going to be all about off-grid power, the system we've got, how it works, how much power things use, how long does it take to recharge, and how bloody good it is when you're travelling full time. So before we get into that, I'll jump downstairs and tell you about a little bit of a giveaway we've got sorted out. Then I'll get back up and talk about the solar. Where are you, dear? There she is.
Oh.
How are you? I'll even tell you how much the Mrs. Hairdryer uses, and the hair straightener, and every other bloody appliance under the sun that she likes to carry in our caravan. Righto, come with me, I'll show you what we're going to give away. I've got the beautiful wife, Rebecca, filming for me. Hang on, turn around. I can't resist showing your beautiful face, dear. Anyway, we're in a lovely spot. It's called Lake INDAWARRA, I think, somewhere near Tintanar. We're in SA now. But anyway, just a little bit of a... It is Valentine's Day, just for a bit of background info. We're giving away a fridge. Can you believe it?
Holy moly.
Holy moly. Now, you can't really tell that that's a fridge because I've got so much storage fitted to the front of it now. But it's a DOMETIC CRX 110, and we've joined forces with the guys from CRVC, Caravan RV Camping, and they're going to give away to one of you lucky guys either a CRX 110 or an 85, whatever's going to suit your rig or your van or your pop top, whatever you want to put it in, you get to choose, right? And they'll send it out to you. So all you have to do, same as when we give away the battery system and the charger, just jump on the link in the video description. That'll take you to a landing page, and just put your details in there. Then they'll send us a couple of random entries. You have to be subscribed to our YouTube channel. That's our one big thing. And then just enter via the landing page and you're done. Random draw, we'll let you know. We'll draw it in, I'll put the dates down here because I think we're going to run the comp for a week. But yeah, I'll put the dates down here so you all know. And there you go, you can win one of these. How sick's that? Inside 110, heaps of room, freezer up the top, meat, beers, a couple of CCs, waters, soft drink for the kids. Hey, we like it. It's a good thing. Anyway, while we're here, I want to show you, because we're talking about off-grid battery systems, I'm going to talk mainly about the one in the van, but while we're here, I'll show you how much battery power this one pulls coming off the 200 amp BTEC in the car, all right? So with here, if you swing in here, babe, I don't know if you'll be able to see it too well, but we have got the Marine panel in here. If we go up to there, that tells us what everything's pulling. So at the moment, that fridge is just running and it's pulling 1.95 amps, or nearly 2 amps out of the battery, right? Now that wouldn't be pulling flat out. I know when it's a really hot day and if I crank it up to the coldest setting, it pulls at about 4.5, 4.8 amps. So there you go. Also, while we're here, we've got discount codes like we do with my generator. I'll put them down below. You can jump online, store wide, use those codes whenever, save you a bit of cash. They'll also be in the video description. Righto, so while I'm up on the roof, I'll turn this around and I'll show you what we've got up here. So on the roof of our van, we have 4 185 watt panels, which means we have 720 watts of solar. And as you can see, we don't have much more real estate to put any up here, right? So I think one of the best investments you can make is fit as much solar to your roof as you can possibly fit with the real estate you have. Now, there's a few reasons for that. The biggest one being the more solar, the more sun you capture, the more power you put back into your batteries, which means they're going to charge up faster and you can use your battery more often, yeah? So it just makes things better. But it also, you've got so many things to deal with when you've got solar panels, right? So not only have you got cloudy days, you've got trees from shading campsites and that sort of stuff, but you've also got all this stuff on your roof, your TV antenna when it's up, your aircon, your hatches when they're up, your dust suppression fan, everything likes to cast a shadow, right? And as soon as you put a bit of a shadow over any of these squares on these solar panels, you lose input. So the more solar you've got up the top, the more efficient your system's going to be at catching the sun and punching power back into that battery, which is what it's all about. You've got to regenerate that power. All right, now a question, big question we get a lot about solar is why don't you run slimline panels? What about the weight, all that sort of thing? Well, yes, the only downside to glass panels is they're heavier, but when you do your research, they're pretty much the only reliable option in the caravan market these days. So there's been a lot of dramas with slimline panels. Once they get hot, their efficiency reduces, they don't put in as much power, they fail a lot. So until they can find one that's going to stand the test of time and run for a couple of years without any dramas, I'm going to stick with the glass panels from Enerdrive because they have never let me down and they punch in a heap of solar. So to give you a bit of a heads up, I reckon on a really good day, perfect conditions, we get about 30 amps of solar coming in. In a perfect world, I would love one more panel to punch it up closer to 40 amps, that would be really good. But like I said, we don't have the real estate. On our next van, I think we'll probably go full 23 footer. So we'll be able to squeeze another panel on up the top here and we'll have 800 watts plus, which will be killer. While I'm up here on the roof, I might as well show you. It's a good idea to keep your panels clean as well if you want to get the most solar out of them. Now, a bit of dust ain't going to make too much difference, you know. I've tried before when they're a bit after a dusty road, I check the input and then I clean them and have a look. Yeah, you'd be lucky to gain up to an amp, right? But when you start getting stuff like this over the whole corner of the panel, see how much dust's there? Which means it's throwing a shadow under that dust, right? So if you just get up now and then, I know my van's good to go. I can get up here and walk around. A lot of other vans aren't really suitable to walk on the roof, so make sure you know your roof loading capacity, if you can walk around or not. Otherwise, get a ladder, get a microfiber cloth on the end of a broom or something, and just sweep your panels down. Or if you go through a big truck wash, you can give them a good blast. But generally, I just grab a microfiber cloth, and I just give them a good wipe like this. And I do that every now and then. Depends how much dusty roads you do, how much rain you've had, and all that sort of stuff. But make sure you keep them clean. That way you'll always be getting the optimum amount of input from your panels into your battery. Anyway, let's go inside. I'll show you the power plant, the battery pack, and the system, and we'll show you how it all works, how we monitor it, and what all our appliances use. Alrighty, so in the van, let's have a quick recap about the system. We have shown you in other videos before, but let's start fresh. So you got it in your heads before we show you how much it all pulls, right? So the whole battery system and battery management system is bang under here. So under the seats, keeps the weight over the axles. You can't quite see, there's a big 400 amp lithium white pack along there, long skinny one, fits under there. Then the whole board, the battery management board, has the DC to DC charger on it, which comes from the car and pumps 40 amps into the battery through the Anderson plug. Then you've got the solar controller, which takes all the solar off the roof. And then you've got like the relay drivers and the smarts for all the monitoring system and all that sort of stuff. This is all pre-wired by Enerdrive, sent to the caravan manufacturer to install in a position that fits in your van. So they can customize those boards to fit under your bed, under your seat, whatever sort of compartment you've got, right? Then you've got isolators, you've got breakers, and you've got a balancing system which helps charge all the lithium cells individually and keep them all at their premium sort of optimum battery health, right? So I'll leave that in a nutshell. That's all the gear, all the smarts and the chargers all live under there. While we're looking at the battery system, under this other panel is the big 3000 watt inverter charger, COMBI. So that turns on our inverter, makes all our appliances work, and it's also a 120 amp charger when plugged into mains. There you go. Now up this side, easy to access and easy to look at, is our battery management panel, which shows we've got our inverter control, which we can turn it on and off and adjust our input current through our mains, run a generator, all that sort of thing through that one. And if we want to run any appliances off our 240 volt plugs, we turn that on. I'll show you that in a minute. The Sign Marine gauge, that is one of the smarts under there, and it takes all the sort of data from each appliance in the van, runs it through a little relay system down there, sends it up to the screen, and it tells you, it's also got extra inputs for water tanks and stuff. So we know how much water's in our tanks underneath by the gauge on here, but this is what we really want to know. So it tells us how many amps is going into our house battery or coming out of it, how much solar's coming in from the roof, how much power our fridge is using, and then common loads is all our other 12 volt appliances. So like any 12 volt plugs in the van that we might be running, phone chargers off, or a cigarette lighter socket charging something, or the TV's plugged in on standby mode, all that sort of stuff comes through there. Up here is just got a little fuse panel for all our 12 volt things. If you blow a fuse, a little light comes on. That's never happened, so that's handy. We've never blown a fuse. And then over this side is our EPRO battery monitor. That shows all our battery health. It's sort of a scaled down version of what the Sign Marine one is. So you come over here, see that's 59%. Come over here, the EPRO one's 59% as well. But what it shows, that 17.2 amps that it's showing there, is that's the solar coming in minus any of the loads in the van. So you'll see 17.2 amps coming in, but if you come over here and go to solar, you'll see that we've got 11 and 12. So we've got 23 amps of solar coming in, but we've also got 6 amps of current draw there, 4 from the fridge and 2.5 from common loads. So you just get your head around it, and it shows you how many amps is coming in or out, how many volts your battery's at, and it also shows, which is handy, how many watts is coming in or out. So there you go. It's a little bit to get your head around, I know. We've been using it for a few years, so I'm really sort of well versed on it. And it's a super simple system once you get in. You pretty much set and forget. We don't touch any of the controls, we don't change any settings. All we do is read those things, look at our battery health, and we know when our battery's getting down, battery's getting up, and what we can use and what we can't use, right? In this van, we can use everything, which is sick. So let's get into that. I'm going to get out all the appliances, we're going to run the washing machine, and we'll show you on here how much everything uses. So off-grid battery systems, why is lithium a good thing? Well, the biggest thing in caravanning is it keeps the weight down, right? So that battery we've got, so it's 400 amps of lithium, and it weighs 60 something kilos. Now, if we were to get the same in an AGM battery, it would be closer to 300 kilos, right? So that's a big difference to start with. So everyone's always chasing that payload, so they want to be able to put more in their van, which means their vans need to be lighter, and you can only tow 3.5 ton with most things. So lithium is the way to go for weight saving, but it's also got other benefits as well. So the lithium systems can handle higher current draws. So that's why we can use our 3000 watt inverter and run our aircon, right? Which I'll show you how much it pulls in a minute, because it can handle it. The lithium cells can handle it. AGMs can as well, but not for as long, all right? They get hot, they want to shut down, they lose voltage. Whereas lithium retains its cell voltage, like over 12 volts, right down to 0%. Whereas you get an AGM battery, you get down to around 30% of state of charge, and you're well under 12 volts, which means a lot of inverters will just cut out, okay? And another thing, they charge. They charge like just about, with the right charger, about 3 times faster than an AGM battery. So when you've got solar coming in, and you're driving down the road, and you've got your DC to DC charge coming in, all that stuff is going to work heaps faster and pump that battery, that lithium battery, back up to full state of charge, up to 3 times faster than an AGM, which means you can drive an hour down the road, not 10 hours down the road, and you'll have a full system ready for the next night to use all your appliances again. Before I get into plugging them in, right, if you ever want to know how much power something uses for your inverter, let's just say you've got a 2000 watt inverter. If you look on the back of your appliance, there will always be a sticker, and it should say 220 to 240 volts, and then it should have like a peak power usage, and this one says 500 watts. So you know that should run easily. It's our little milk frother. It'd run off anything over a 500 watt inverter, right? Or a 1000 watt inverter would do it easy. So you look at all those appliances, they'll have a description on the back, and you'll know if you can run it off your system, right? All right, let's go. We'll start laying everything out, because you know what? I think Beck's probably got more household appliances in this caravan than other ladies have in their whole house.
Oh my God, that is absolute bull.
Mate, it would not surprise me. So let's get them all out, because this is super interesting. Everyone's always asked us, like...
We never actually carried a toaster and, what's that?
Sandwich press.
Sandwich press for like, that's a recent addition, like in the last 12 months. Coffee
machine. Now there's microwave there as well. What do you use for your hair, darling? You got a hair dryer, you got a hair straightener, you got a curler as well?
Which I never use. I actually, no, I lie. So when I wash my hair, I dry it off before bed, and I would use my hair straightener twice a year, no joke. So,
but it still comes along,
it still comes along. You just never know. You never know when you might take me out for dinner.
Cranks along.
I need to.
Oh, I do. That's
straighten.
Never. I'm too good of a cook. We don't need to go out for dinner.
We never go out for dinner.
All right. So what else you got? Where is all that stuff, babe?
Yeah, it's in there.
Hang on. I'll let Beck get all that out.
Wait, give me a sec.
And we'll. All right, let's kick off with some of the more common appliances that everybody's going to run, which is like the 12 volt stuff, to give you an idea of what that sort of pulls. Now, I think the 12 volt water pump in your caravan is going to be the most power hungry 12 volt appliances, other than maybe a big charger that you plug in, right? So our pump is up here. We can turn our pump on. Let's have a look at our 12 volt loads, over here. And it's currently at 3.2. I turn that pump on all the way. There you go. It picks up to about 9 amps. So it's about 6 amps of current draw to run your 12 volt pump. Happy days. The washing machine. Everyone wonders if it only works on 240 volt. No, it's really low current draw. Hey, it doesn't take much. So come in here. All it does is obviously it runs the water pump like that, but it also runs power at the same time. what you will have to do is turn the inverter on, dear. So come over here. So say we want to use it. You just press that button. That turns the COMBI on under the seat down there, the 3000 watt inverter. You come in here. Have you got your stuff in there ready to go? All right, turn her on, dear. There we go. So we'll come back and have a look. Here we are, common loads, 3.2. You can see as it pumps water in and it starts turning, it's still pulling under 10 amps. So nothing. That's the washing machine going. It hardly uses any power. I know when it is doing a full spin cycle, it pumps up to about 15 amps at current draw, but it doesn't spin for that long, right? Because it's only a 2 kilo washing machine. So really efficient and easy to use when you're off grid. So we use that flat out, mate. We run it all the time. We generally run out of water before we run out of battery power. Like I've said before, it's all well and good to have the world's biggest lithium battery and a huge inverter to run everything, but you're still limited by the capability of being able to recharge those batteries. You have to have good solar, you have to have good chargers to get it back in. That's the only way to replenish that battery and to be able to use all those appliances again. Righto, now come and have a look at this plethora of appliances laid out here. Look at it all. We haven't even got it all. She couldn't even find the hair straightener.
No, I can't. Because I never use it.
I think she just got embarrassed, so she didn't want to show.
Didn't. Don't say that.
Anyway, let's have a crack. Look, all we got to do with our van, like I said, you just turn on the inverter and away you go. So it's super easy, eh? That way, every 240 volt socket in our van works as if you're on a powered site or if you're at home as soon as you hit that button. And it's all safety controlled too. This is all regulated. It's got breakers and safeties and temperature switches and all that sort of stuff. So if it gets too hot, it cuts out. If you use too much current, which I show you, it will cut out. It can't overcharge because it's limited through the inverter and that sort of thing. It's a super safe and reliable system. And we've run the same thing for over three years now, babe.
Yeah.
We've had it in a couple of vans, 3 vans we've had it in. And it just keeps going and going and it never lets us down. So let's turn this on. We're currently pulling, I'll show you what a sandwich press makes. On the back of here again, look, it tells you 750 watts.
That one's a $9 special.
That's a $9 special. There you go. But if we turn it on, it goes straight to full noise. And I will. If you didn't know, if you didn't know, the things that draw the most power in your caravan are either heating or cooling elements. So heating the most, cooling the second, and then charging is the next, right? That's the thing that draws the most amps. So let's have a look. Common loads, 3 amps. Turn that on. Let's have a look at what it wants to go up to when we crank it in. So it'll start charging up, house battery. There you go. It's pulling 40 amps out of the battery. If we have a look over here, it tells you the same thing. It'll also show you the wattage. 526 watts. It's pulling out of the battery to heat that sandwich press up. Next one, the $9 toaster from Woolies. This we got. Kmart, is it? We go all out, don't we, dear? Turn that one on. Let's have a look. And up she goes. 16. Oh, hang on. No. Just, you know you have to press this down before it works. Did you know that? Here we go.
Actually, I think that's
Go again. Straight up. It's going to use a lot there. It's going to heat 580, 590. So there you go. Just under 600 watts and 45 amps to run that. So they are power hungry, but you've got to remember these appliances, like you might be on for a couple of minutes to use a piece of toast, right? So you might use 1 or 2% of your battery over those few minutes. So if you've got good solar coming in, that charges back up within 20 minutes, you know. But in general, overnight, after we use it and all that sort of thing, in the morning we wake up and our battery system is around 75% on average. Would that be right, Beck?
Yeah.
About right. But if we use it the night before, like last night, we used, we've just got a Thermomix as well. We used that last night to cook a curry. That pulled about, on its full heating element, pulled about 89 amps or something while it was getting up to temp. And then when it got back down, it was only using 20 or 30 amps. So it used a fair bit of battery power last night, about 10% of our system to cook our curry, which took about 30 minutes. Which was why this morning we were down around 65%, now we're at 59. There you go, so that's 590 watts steady for that toaster. Flick him off. Now, the big one, which a lot of ladies might want to know about, is the hairdryer.
Again,
right?
Kmart special.
Kmart special. Now it's going to be variable as to what fan speed it's on and what heat it's on. So I'll put it on the hottest setting and the highest fan speed, and we'll plug her in.
You know how to use one of those?
Oh mate, I'd do a hair for her, you know, give her a blow wave now and then. Crank it on. Let's have a look. Look at that, smashing it. Oh, 2160 watts. That's a lot, eh? We have a look here, it'll be, how many amps it's going out? 171 amps. 171 amps to run this. Your hairdryer.
I use it once a week for like 3 minutes.
There you go, we'll turn it off. So that goes to show if you haven't got a big battery system, you probably don't want to let the missus carry a hairdryer because that's a lot of power. You wouldn't want to use that for too long. But again, I don't know, how long does it take you to do your hair?
Yeah, a couple of minutes.
Couple of minutes.
I'll just dry it off.
Yeah.
A little bit.
I don't know if you can hear this, but oh, it's just gone off. When you start working this system, it's got some thermo fans in it as well. So once it starts cranking and pulling heavy loads like that, the fans kick in to keep everything cool. Here we go. Next one. This one, our induction cooker. I don't know how many people, we've had thousands of questions of this thing over the years. We used to always use it in the ute. Now we use it in here a lot. Because we've got the battery system to handle it, the more we use this, the less gas we use, right? And we put it down here and the kids make scrambled eggs and pancakes on it all the time.
It's a good safety thing for them.
Yeah, it's down low and it's not hot. Even when you're cooking, you take that off. It's hot to touch, but it's not going to burn you like a hot pan on a gas stove, right? So I'll plug it into this one and show you. The good thing about these is they're variable. So it's a 2000 watt induction cooker and they're safe. They will not turn on unless you've got an induction capable pot on top. So it'll register that. Put this on, turn it on, go straight to 1300 watts. And then it should tell you, it should transfer exactly what's on this to over here. No. So let's see it build up. Because I've got this set at 1300 if you have a look, babe. Yeah. Down here, there's 1300 watts. Let's just crank it up to 2000. That's the highest setting to like boil water and see what it pulls out of the battery. It also might take more if it's got food in it and stuff. So there you go, it's only pulling 1320 watts. But if we have a look, 101 amps. 101 amps out of the battery. So you don't want to be pulling that for too long. You know what I mean? And who does that? It only takes 2 minutes to boil water. Whenever we're cooking, the highest setting is usually about 1300 to 1600 watts, and you're only using it for 5 or 6 minutes. So there you go. That's the induction cooker. That was only 59 bucks off eBay about 3 years ago. That's been one of our best purchases ever. Oh, yeah, Harris scarf, sorry. But yeah, you can get them on eBay. Just look up Inabella 2000 watt cooktop. All right, now, big one. Everyone loves coffee. Everyone loves a coffee. Let's plug the coffee machine in. I need a bit of water. This is a Nespresso ESSENZA Mini. We're just about to get a new one, but it will be the same machine. It's been a killer. We've had it for a couple of years, but I think it's started to get a bit scaly and gross. Yeah, the coffee's just not as good as it used to be. So we plug that in. I'll just turn that on. You've got to let it heat up for a second.
We really want a normal coffee machine, but we don't have the bench space.
We don't have the space.
And I want it to fit in here, and you can't find one small enough. And
I might just, if we're doing it, do you want another coffee, dear?
Yeah, maybe.
If we're doing it, I'll just make you another coffee. So we keep our, where's the milk frother jug? There it is. The same thing here, it's a KETTLE one, I think. Is that Woolies?
Yeah, Woolies.
Yeah, we've had that for years. You just put your milk thing in there. We never froth our milk anymore. You just use it as a milk heater. So there you go. A bit of extra info for you. This is where we store all Beck's soy milk and almond milk. Got little hidey holes everywhere in this van, eh? Like little storage compartments. It's great. So let's have a look. I'll show you what the milk frother pulls. Yeah, about that much soy milk for the squeeze. And if we turn this on, and it only takes a few minutes too, but we press our button, it beeps. And again, it's a heating element, so it does use a bit of power. You see straight away, it's pulling 25 amps out of the battery, which is gonna be 314 watts. There you go. So it says 500 watts on the back of it, but that's always like the peak power usage. So I found that they put a bit of a safety margin in there, just to cover their own bums, I think. But there you go, it's pulling there. It's getting up there now, 400 watts, it's sort of cycling to heat the milk. And it's using up to 25 amps and 400 watts to use a milk frother. All right, I'll let that keep going and we'll get a coffee going for the misso. So she loves her little cup here. Anyway, run one through it.
You always ask me about this cup, actually.
Oh, I'll just turn it on, just turn it, mate.
Oh,
She's a clever one. All right, let's see what it takes to pull a shot of coffee out of this machine. I've got a pod in there. Let's press the button, away we go. It is cranking, look at that, up to about 1200 watts at peak and 91.7 amps at peak as well. So like I said, it only uses the most power when it's heating. Look at that, now it's done the heating part and it's pushing through. It's only pulling 13 amps. So yeah, you'd probably want a 2000 watt inverter to be able to run a coffee machine successfully. And then we'll finish the milk off for Darlin and I'll serve it up for her.
Thank you.
No worries. It's Valentine's Day, so we'll go. Everything's for you today. All right, that's going to be all our appliances in the kitchen, right, which we mainly use. I'll now, once the coffee's done, I'll turn the aircon on and show you what it pulls. Now, we get a lot of questions about the aircon. How long does it last? Can you run it all day? That's not why we did that. It's not what we've ever used it for. It is a power-hungry device, especially where you can use it on reverse cycle to heat in the morning. And that pulls heaps when you first start it up, pulls 60 to 70 amps, right? Now, you think about it, we've got a 400 amp battery pack. What's 60 times 4 is 20, what's that, 240? So there's 4 hours of usage would be 240 amps of your battery gone. 5 hours of usage would be 300 amps of your battery gone. Now, you don't want to go and use all your battery power just to run your aircon, because then what are you going to do to use anything else, right? So we get about, if we wanted to run it for long term, we'd get 3 to 4 hours out of it. On a good day with full solar, that 30 amps coming in would offset it, so you'd get 5 to 6 hours usage. But we don't need that, right? What we use it for is on a really hot, stinking day, middle of summer or whatever, or just in a free camp somewhere, we pull up at the end of the day, we get in here and go, oh, it's disgusting. We put that on for an hour or so, with everything shut, it cools the van down. We turn it off, we put on our Sirocco fans. So if you spin around, well, there's one above our head and there's this one here. These are the best fan you will ever find. They use stuff all power, they're quiet, they rotate in every which way. They got sleep timers on them, they got 3 speeds.
Don't get white,
don't get white, get black. Yeah, you don't have to clean them as often. But yeah, so I'll show you in a minute, but they are power hungry, and you don't want to be able to set up a system to run an aircon full time, mate, you'd probably need at least 1000 watts of solar on the roof and a good 600 watts of lithium. So another 200 amps, or 600 amps, sorry, another 200 plus than what we've got. Like, it's just, I think if you wanted to run it full time, you're far better off getting a generator, okay, in my opinion, because otherwise you just got a huge system built just to run an aircon.
If you're like us and you're following the seasons, you shouldn't really need to use it.
No, like we probably use that more of a heater on super cold mornings that are unexpected, you know, and then it's good because you might use it for an hour in the morning, get out of bed, and then you drive for that day and you charge your battery back up. So it works really well like that, as we don't have a diesel heater. Sweet. All right, I just want to quickly show you, I've changed clothes because I forgot to do this the other day, but I want to show you what the aircon pulls, right? So super hot day today, about 32 outside, nice and warm. Up here, I've got the aircon on the lowest setting, 16 degrees on the icicle, and full fan speed. Now we'll swing over here. The EPRO is going to tell us that we're only using 15 amps of our battery power, which we are. So that's 15 amps just to run the aircon. But you know why? It's because we've got a heap of solar coming in. Look at that, 15.1 and 16. So we've got 31 amps of solar coming in, which is offsetting this. So normally that'd be pulling 46 amps, which is about right. So the aircon normally, once it's cooled down to its cycle, around anywhere from that 45 to 55 amps is what the aircon will pull. Now that's a Dometic Harrier. Other aircons will pull more or less, but I think in general terms, the only two you'd want to be able to run off an inverter, from my knowledge, are the Truma INVERTER and the Dometic Harrier. Happy days. That's the aircon. Coffee's ready. I'll pull that in a second, but the fridge, right? Let's talk about fridges. We get a lot of questions back about, should I get a 3-way fridge or a compressor fridge, right? Now, I'd like to tell you is my take or my differences between the two. So a 3-way fridge is just that. It runs on 3 types of energy. So it runs on gas, runs on 240, and it also runs on 12 volt, but only when you're hooked up to the car. Now, a 3-way fridge is really inefficient on 12 volt, so you don't want to be running it off your batteries when you're stopped, which is why generally there'll be a fridge switch, which will only let you use 12 volt power in a 3-way while you're towing. So it runs it off there, right? Off gas, they're super efficient and they work really well, but they use a lot of gas in hot weather. And in 240 volt, they work sweet. So if anyone's planning your van build, if the type of travel you're going to do is mainly caravan parks and not too many free camping stays, I would recommend getting a 3-way fridge, because you'll always be plugged into 240 volt power, and the odd time you do go away, you can run it on gas and they work really well. The reason we have a compressor fridge is because they're suited to run only on 240 volt and 12 volt, but they are really efficient on 12 volt power, right? But you still have to have a good system to run it, because they are a constant load. Your fridge, especially with kids, it's getting open and shut all the time. We're in hot weather. The fridge runs a lot, and it pulls probably 5 to 6 amps most of the time. So you're going to use probably 50 to 60 amps a day to run a compressor fridge. So you need to have solar, and you need to have a battery bank big enough to support a compressor fridge. But for us, it's gold, because we don't use any gas. We do that much free camping. If we had a gas fridge, I'd be forever filling gas bottles, and it'd be a pain in the bum. So there you go. That's my take on 3-way versus compressor fridges. For off-grid systems, compressors the go. All right, here you go, dear. Here's your coffee.
Thanks, doll.
Hey, we'll just about wrap this up, I reckon. There you go. Show everyone. Have a sip. It's probably stinking hot. Don't burn your mouth. Don't burn.
Love my coffees. This is number 2 for the day. Last one, only have 2.
Yeah, I do love coffee. All right. What else we got, babe? I don't want to miss anything.
Oh, the microwave.
Oh yeah. Let's do that. Let's just go start. Put it on. See how many watts it's pulling. They're pretty good, hey, on the microwave. There's 296, 560, 800, 1000, 1100. So it's peaked out at about 1190, 1200, and in amps, it'll be pulling 92 amps, 93 amps. So there you go. You'd probably want a 2000 watt inverter to run your microwave as well. Righto. That's our off-grid battery system. Now, talk about price and costing. It's a lot of money, I'm not going to lie to you, and if you're not going to use it, then I wouldn't recommend going to get it. Now, for the system in this van is, depending on a few little components and that, you're going to be anywhere between 14 to 20 grand. Now, if you start at the 14 grand sort of setup, we know from experience that we've recouped that cost in 12 months of travel by not staying and paying for caravan park site fees, right? Especially with kids, can be upwards of $70, $85 a night. For kids, we can go down the road, stay in a free camp, in a bush camp like we are now, for nothing, and still use all our appliances and be happy.
Well, in 2016, what did we spend on caravan parks?
$13,000.
So, and that was 4 years ago, and we barely paid for kids.
That's right. So it's gone up a lot since then. So if we stayed in that same, which was probably about 75% caravan parks, 25% free in national parks, if we did that same trip now, it'd probably cost us closer to 20 grand just in park fees and stuff. So, and honestly, it's not just the money, it's about the enjoying the lifestyle. I know, I'll spin it around, but how much more do you enjoy caravanning just having creature comforts?
Oh, 100%. I think that's why I've lasted on the road for 5 years, in all honesty.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just being able to dry my hair off at night, run the toaster, run my coffee machine, and to have those luxuries where you're in a free camp overlooking the ocean. Yeah. Well, totally worth it.
It makes it. And it's a good peace of mind when you know you're pretty much saving money along the way anyway. And
hopefully this might convince your wife to go travelling Australia.
It'll definitely help, mate, I think, if they know they can run their Thermomix like you've got now.
Yeah.
And bring along their stuff and do their cooking, and they can even run a sewing machine or anything like that, you know?
Yep.
But
well worth the money.
It is, but it also, I'll tell you now, some of our best, probably our top 10 best places and best experiences around the country have all been in free camps and bush camps and places that are hard to get to, and we've enjoyed them because we've got creature comforts.
We've got photos. Our favourite photos on the wall here are from free camps. Look at this one.
This one here, yeah.
Cape Range National Park and James Price Point.
Yeah.
Oh, and Uluru.
And Uluru.
These were all free camping spots, and they're my favourite photos in our caravan. And we had appliances able to work.
Able to work. Killer. All right, hey. Right, it's my turn for a coffee. I just want to show you one last thing. Is our little kettle. It's a TEFAL Mini, and the sticker on the bottom of that says 2200 watts. Hey?
A TEFAL.
That's what it is.
TEFAL.
Oh, is it? Oh, God, I'm sorry. Tomato.
Yeah, well.
See what I've got to live with? Oh, yeah. Hey, righto, hit the go button, dear. On the kettle. Did that turn on?
Yeah. Yeah, the red light. Oh, the red light was on.
Came on?
Yeah, don't mind the disgustingness of it. This is a really good hot tip, actually, because it's only half a litre.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's 0.8.
sorry, 0.8. You know your big cans
tomato,
are like
tomato.
2 litres. You just don't need it, and
You
it
don't
pulls
need it.
less current.
We're lucky to ever put any more than half a litre in it for
Yeah.
a couple of us. Here we go. She's cranking. Let's have a look. It's on. It's on. It's pulling 2,000 watts. There you go. Let's have a look over here. Yeah, 157 amps. Plus the washing machine's on as well. So there you go. No dramas pulling a kettle, but you'd want, I reckon you'd probably want a 2600 watt inverter to pull a kettle. Yeah, because 2000 might be just on the limit.
Want some black shoes?
I don't know, do you want some black shoes? Just a few. You know, why do we buy black shoes though, Dee?
Because when you hit the Pilbara and the Kimberley and that pinned and red dirt stains anything other than black.
Even this stuff out here, it's like that black bit of sand and stuff like that. It doesn't matter where you are, they get filth.
Or black shoes.
Black shoes, especially for the kids. Righto, and the last thing I want to show you is how the system looks after itself. So the safeties, it will cut out if you try and pull too much current by using lots of appliances, right? So here we go, I've got the milk frother down here. I'm going to turn that on. I've got the aircon still running off the inverter. All right, and you come over here, it's pulling 76 amps off the battery now. Now I reckon this one might be the clincher. I'll start the kettle up like that. We're pulling 290 amps out of the battery. It's probably going to want, oh, there you go, look at that. We're pulling 3,000, over 3,000 watts out of the battery system. It's still going. What else can we put on? I reckon if we throw the hot water heater on, that'll trip it over. So we'll put that on. Still on, put the coffee machine on. Oh my God, it's still running. So at the moment, it's just gone, there it goes. So it took us putting all those appliances on, and it peaked at about 4,500 watts on the EPRO. And you hear that beeping? There you go. That's the alarm. It'll shut itself down. Now, there's no like really hard way to reset it. All you do is press and hold the inverter combi control to turn it off. A couple of seconds. Make sure all your stuff's turned off, otherwise it'll instantly try and trip it again. But, and the kettle off. Then all you have to do is press the button again. It beeps, it turns back on, and away we go. It's back to normal. So it's just like pretty much like an RCD or a safety switch in your house. The inverter combi's got the same thing, so it doesn't matter if you overdo it. It'll just turn off and say too much, man. And you reset it, and you're happy days.
I'm surprised
That's it.
That much, actually.
That was huge, man. Hey, 4,500 watts it pulled. Righto, well, I think I'm going to sign off there while I make my coffee. This is my new little thing, one of these Wakako, I think that's how you say it, dear. You'd know, wouldn't you? Being an English expert, I just burnt my hand. Fudge. Not real good at that. Anyway, I'm really liking this. You can buy whatever coffee you want, and it's just a little bit labour intensive. You've got to plunge yourself, right? There you go. Anyway, off topic. Up here, dear. Hope you enjoyed that. Hope you got some good info out about it. I'm going to leave a heap of links in the video description, and make sure you hit the one that goes to the landing page, and you can enter our competition, and you might be lucky enough to win the fridge, mate. Have a CRX 85 or a CRX 110 in your next touring rig, or your van, or your pop top, whatever. Remember to check out the codes too. Save yourself a heap of cash. Righto. Catches. Bon appetit. Is that what you say for coffee?
Daisies blooming, sundress swaying in the breeze.